Got my post-quarantine haircut finally. Third chain. And making a drive shaft hoop for this car. It needs to be, I think the minimum is 7/8 OD tubing, or you can make it out of 1/4 inch plate. So I'm making it out of 1 inch tubing and 1/4 inch plate, little combination of the two. And this thing will, obviously, you'll have to remove the drive shaft to get it out. But the only time that you'd ever want to remove it, you'd also be removing the drive shaft anyway. So to make it easy to get out, I'm going to weld some nuts on the inside of the car. That way you don't have to have two people to take this thing out. So started drilling these holes a little bigger. I had it clecoed in with some 1/8 inch holes there. And as you can see, I just have some tacks on it, but I'm going to weld all that and all that as well. So here's where it bolts under the passenger seat. So I'm gonna, once I get the holes drilled in it, I'm gonna through bolt it, and then I'm gonna weld the nuts in here. That way you can just unbolt it from the bottom of the car. Just picked up these Hyper Step drill bits from Matco. Not sure if it's a gimmick or not yet. We'll see. See, it's got like a step bit start. Shane's had a set for a while, and they actually seem to work pretty good. And the fact that these first, this row and this row are all lifetime warranty, it's a pretty good deal, even though they are kind of pricey. These, if you break them, you got to buy a new one. But we'll be careful with those. Maybe not as much with these. Alright, I'm under this car on a creeper, and I got my hoop bolted in place here. Because it's just bolting the sheet metal, I welded on some like little reinforcing kind of base plates. I got one on this side and then another one here on this side. And a little tip for you is that if you know you're going to have to take something out at the same time as another part while you're building the car, it's a good idea to use the same type of hardware, right? So, okay, we know that if we're going to have to pull this transmission out of the car, it takes a 14mm head bolt. So I put the same hardware holding this drive shaft tube in. So when you have to get under the car in a hurry to replace a trans or fix something or replace a clutch or whatever, you only need to bring one tool. Makes life easier. Here I just took some regular nuts. I'm using like a fine thread. It's like a 12 by 1 1/4. I'm sorry, 10 by 1 1/4. And I just cleaned the outside edges of them, and I'm just going to weld them right here to the floor of the car so they don't spin. Ryan touched up the interior of the car here with some Steel-It. Pretty sweet, just matches the stuff that came right out of the spray gun. That worked out pretty good. Just taped off some items in here, keep the overspray down. We got the drive shaft hoop all finished up. Here it is installed in the car. Everything painted. Fresh coat of Steel-It on our reinforcement plates. Steel-It gray, that is. And then we painted the drive shaft hoop itself in Steel-It black. That's a wrap for this episode about our drive shaft hoop. If you have any questions about it, leave them in the comments. Thanks for watching.